CD warehouse in Duluth, Georgia. I was just in there, so let's see what I picked up. Greetings, y'all. I'm back in Georgia, and this time I visited another CD warehouse, this time in Duluth, Georgia. They even had these bins underneath the bins that I noticed when I thought I was done, and they were like $1.99 bins, so I had to get down there and start digging through them. And they have some vinyl as well, as the other CD warehouse did. Prices, I thought at this one were they were similar, but I didn't find as many like lower price things, whereas in the other one it seemed like nothing was over like $4 really. In this one it seemed like a lot of them started at $4, but the prices were still pretty cheap. And I found a few things in that $1.99 bin, so here we go. From 2007 we have The Thrills and Teenager. And this is, speaking of which, something I found in the $1.99 bin, and I don't know, it's just something about the cover that just kind of caught my attention. I'd never heard of this band. I looked up just to be safe because I didn't know what kind of music it was, and when I just really quickly looked up, it said it was, you know, just kind of like a rock band. I think they're from Ireland, so I just said, I'll take a shot. And the back here, these two girls laughing, I just thought that was the band, so I thought it was going to be like these two girls, but it's not. It's a bunch of dudes. It's not bad. It's, you know, alternative rock. A little bit later in the record it gets pretty mellow, you know, with like a capital M, but not bad. I mean, you know, $1.99, I could do worse. I'll have to give this a few more listens. The tracks are listed on the front here again, which is kind of odd. Maybe it's supposed to be looking like one of those old records from like the 50s or 60s where they would sometimes do that. But the tracks that really stood out on my first listen here were This Year and Nothing Changes Around Here. I liked, but the other ones, you know, some stuff kind of caught my ear, but not as super catchy as those two. But I'll give it another listen and see what we think. 1987, we get the Screamin' Blue Messiahs and Bikini Red. This record, I always wondered what this record sounded like because the only song I knew on this was I Wanna Be a Flintstone. They're kind of like alternative, maybe kind of post-punk, maybe, or sort of new wave, I guess, or like the tail end of new wave, maybe. But that song I used to play, we had it at my college radio station. They had it on like a cart, and I would play it quite often there. And I always thought it was kind of a cool tune, you know, but I'd never heard anything else by them, I don't think. So when I saw this there, and it, you know, it was maybe $4 or something like that, I was like, you know, when I saw it there and I picked it out, I was like, I wonder if this is the one with the Flintstone song on it, and it was. And I was just like, man, I gotta hear what the rest of this sounds like. And it's not bad, you know. Some of the other tracks I kind of dig on here were Big Brother Muscle, Jesus Chrysler Drives a Dodge. How about that for a title? That was kind of cool. A really kind of like driving kind of beat to it. Lie Detector, 55 The Law was pretty good too. But you know, it was kind of cool to finally kind of hear some other stuff by them, and I'll definitely be putting this one back on and giving it a few more listens. But on my initial listen, that's what kind of struck me about it. 1994, we get Luscious Jackson and Natural Ingredients. I think this might be their first record. I have two of their other albums. They were on Grand Royal, the Beastie Boys record label. Obviously, Kate from the band used to be in the original version of the Beastie Boys. But, you know, they kind of are alternative, kind of some hip hop elements, obviously. I think I've heard them describe it as trip hop. I don't know, I'm not really good with those labels, but I like some of their other stuff that I have, and again, I decided to just pick this one up because it was maybe $4. I just kind of took a gamble on it, and it's okay. And nothing really stood out. There were a couple of songs on here that I thought were all right. Deep Shag was okay, Energy Sucker was all right, and Surprise was all right, you know, they're just, you know, okay, nothing spectacular about this album. I thought, I'll have to give it another listen. Like everything on here, I only listen to everything here once, so I'll have to give it another listen before I really make my final verdict. But that's Luscious Jackson. 2002, we get Northern State and Dying in Stereo. Pretty good title for a record. This is another one that I dug up from the $1.99 bin. Northern State, I have one other CD by them that a friend gave me years ago, gave me like a copy of it, and I liked it, so I bought the CD myself. They're hip hop, three girls. I mean, this is like, speaking of the Beastie Boys, this is like straight out of like Beastie Boys early years, License to Ill kind of sound to it. I don't know, like, you know, what their influences are, but I mean, if they didn't say the Beastie Boys were their influences, I'd be shocked. But you know, it's not bad. But again, it's this. I think this is their first record. This sounds like a first record, like hip hop. You know, there's some good stuff on it, but I mean, it feels a little dated, I guess. And it's 2002. Well, that's 20 years ago, I guess. You know, you could say it's dated. But a couple of the tracks that kind of stood out for me on this were the lead track, 1,000 Words. I thought was really good, and the final track, the title track, Dying in Stereo, I liked. But some of the other stuff was decent, you know. But again, I feel like even like that first Beastie Boys album, License to Ill, I kind of, you know, have a little trouble listening to now. It just kind of feels a little maybe more juvenile than I care for. But you know, whatever. It was kind of interesting to hear something else by them. 1983, we get Talking Heads, Speaking in Tongues. I feel like this is maybe their record that, I mean, they were kind of popular and they had some success, but I feel like this, obviously, with Burning Down the House, was the album that really kind of broke them into more of a mainstream audience. I mean, I remember back then seeing the video for Burning Down the House. It seemed to be like everywhere, and it was kind of a big deal. I have a few CDs by Talking Heads. I have probably the first thing I ever bought CD-wise. I know I had a couple of cassettes back in the day, but the first CD I think I bought was the Sand in the Vaseline 2-disc like compilation, and I always kind of felt like that'll do me. Like, I like Talking Heads, but I don't really know that I need all their albums and everything. And it's a good collection. And now, you know, because CDs, sometimes you find them so cheap, I would find myself picking up these Talking Heads albums on CD. I think I have 3 or probably 4 of them now, and maybe, I don't know, maybe 5. But it's become one of those things with other bands too, where I'm just like, I had a really good compilation, great tunes, and now I'm buying all the separate albums, and it almost makes that greatest hits, best of thing like obsolete. Like, I don't really need that anymore because now I've got them all on the separate CDs. But you know, I think it's just one of those things where I feel like with Talking Heads, like, I don't really need to collect any more of them, but you know, sometimes you see them and they're somewhat cheap and you're just like, let me grab it, you know. And you know, this is a really good record. Obviously, like I said, Burning Down the House is on here. Girlfriend is Better is really good. I Get Wild, Wild Gravity I liked. Moon Rocks I liked. This Must Be the Place I liked. I think that's on my Sand in the Vaseline compilation as well. But you know, Talking Heads, we all know them. Great band. So that's my haul from the other CD warehouse in Duluth. It's worth popping in if you are ever in that area. By all means, let me know what you think of these records. Tell me some tracks that you like off them. And you know, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.